Hello, and welcome back to Gone Solo, 1,000-Year-Old Vampire. I am your host and storyteller, Royce Rosewood. We're following along the story of Levi McKinney, a sea vampire. In the last chapter, Levi became known as the Garrett Ghoul, got revenge on the mayor who had sent him to a life of rat catching, and then slept for 100 years in the harbor and woke up to find Garrett plunged into a time of war. He met the grandson of his ward, Theodore, who is named Augustus, and ended up in the same battalion as him. There are accusations flying from his fellow soldiers and nurses that Levi is a vampire. He's keeping a prisoner held hostage in the trenches, and it's possible that he is starting to believe that he is not so monstrous as other people suspect him. So something I didn't quite explain about the diaries in the last episode is, so in 1,000-Year-Old Vampire, you can have a total of 5 memories, and each memory can have 3 experiences. So if at any point you need to create an experience that doesn't relate to any of your previous memories, or you don't have any open slots, the only way that you can keep a memory is to transfer it into a diary. Now, a diary can be anything, it can be any physical object, but what that does is, because the prompts will sometimes tell you to lose a resource, and so any memory that's in a diary has the possibility of being lost, and that is how your vampire will start to lose memories as time goes on. So right now we still have all the memories and experiences that we have gone through the game. So just a quick review of where we're at in terms of our characters. We've got the immortal Cassandra Perkins, aka Ironheart, Siren of the Deep; Augustus Riley, grandson of Theodore, a soldier in the wars; Seraphina Pearson, a battlefield nurse; George Perkins, fishy-eyed child of Hartsville, who might be Cassandra's child; Pearl O'Donnell, dishonorably discharged soldier; and William Crawford, an enemy spy and my prisoner in the trenches. All right, and then in terms of our traits, our skills, resources, and mark, we have poetic disposition, sailing, bloodthirsty, which is checked, song and pageantry, soldiering, and espionage. Our resources, we have a painting of a ballerina frog, rat-catching equipment, a treasure map in a bottle. We have this trained rat horde, but I put a question mark on it because that might not have survived the 100 years, so it's kind of in a nebulous state right now. And we have the diary, a battered war journal, and our mark, of course, neck, gills, and fishy eyes. I wear a scarf and avert my gaze. So, let's get into it. So my instinct is that a few more prompts and we'll probably leave this wartime. It's up to us when we, transfer time. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I'll be looking out in the next couple prompts for us to move on. So we last left off at prompt 36. So let's see where we end up next. All right, we've got 9 minus 2, which will put us ahead by 7. You have archaic ways in spite of your focus on blending in. Create a resource based on a checked skill that reflects this. Well, the only checked skill that we have is bloodthirsty. All right, so I'm going to add an experience to the opal memory. I tell a bloody, fictionalized version of this as a ghost story to soldiers over the campfire, and I've created a new resource, a book of ghost stories. Prompt. All right, 2 minus 5, that's -3, so that'll put us at 40, and we will be doing the blue alternate prompts, which means I actually need to add 61 to that number, so that's 101. You half convince yourself you're no longer endangered by something which has caused you harm and vexation in times past. What causes this suspicion? You wish to experiment. Lose a resource in the doing. Are you still endangered by that old source of harm? Well, I think the most interesting thing to do is the old source of harm would be, not staying close to water. And then, of course, the most interesting resource to lose at this point would be the journal. And so I think we're going to do that. I'm going to add this to the Seraphina memory. My draw to bodies of water is perfectly natural. I simply love to swim at night. And we're going to say that during one of these swims, he loses the journal, which means now that he does not remember that he is Levi McKinney or the Garrett Ghoul. He doesn't remember of all the things that happened with Samantha Douglas or being a rat catcher. And he doesn't remember Cassandra turning him into a sea vampire or killing Savannah. All of those memories are now gone. And the way he explains his desire to be near water is he just likes to swim at night. All right, 4 minus 2 is ahead by 2. That'll put us at 42 in the first set of alternate prompts. You discover an immortal and are immediately smitten. Create an immortal character. Tell us about this immortal character. I'm going to draw a card from our Oracle deck. Oh, interesting. I'm seeing a machine, sort of a spidery robot. Well, we know that this world was settled by advanced technology, so maybe there is like some sort of robot or android. I'm going to roll a surname. Machine. 1. Abernathy. Perfect. Here is the new memory. I meet Abernathy, the mechanical man, and leave the war to follow him to Hartsville. I'm doing this so that the fishy-eyed child in Hartsville might draw in the connection, but that means we need to move one of these memories into a new diary. So I'm going to take the Book of Ghost Stories and turn that into a diary. Book of the Ghost Stories with personal notes, and move the Opal story into the Ghost Story book. All right, so we're at 42. All right, 6 minus 2 is 4, so that puts us at 46. You are exposed and flee to a far-off land. Convert any stationary resources to a new resource representing portable cash or treasure. What name do you travel under? What profession do you claim when you have come to rest? Yeah, that'll get rid of the trained rat horde. It says stationary resources, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the rat catching equipment just to pay some sort of cost. And with the sailing, I think we'll take on a ship. Oh, let's name it with a surname. 56, the Madison. I need a new name to travel under. All right, 67, Mortimer. 11, Mortimer Cassidy. All right, we'll need a name for this island where we end up. 66, Morrison Island. And what is he claiming to be? There's a house. There's bicycles in the clouds. The clouds and the wind sort of made me think of wind and weather, so I think maybe he's claiming to be a meteorologist. So adding this to the Abernathy memory, as Mortimer Cassidy, we flee in my new ship, the Madison, to Morrison Island, where I claim to be a meteorologist. So we have sort of left everything far behind. There's still a little bit of time where, things might connect, but in a few more prompts, we'll just sort of assume that all of those people are long gone. All right, 7 minus 2 is 5, and we're using the alternate prompts. That'll put us at 51. You do battle, and some great injury addles your brain. Who did you fight? Mark one memory slot hazy. From now on, the only words you may write in that memory slot are verbs and adjectives. It'll be more fun if I make a new one. So I'll call this one hazy. Oracle, who did we fight? Oh, interesting. There's clouds and rain, and there's some sort of tendrils. All right, so here's the new hazy memory. Desperate battling, injurious striking, rainy storming. So something has happened in a storm that's injured Mortimer now in some way. And we're going to have to move one of these memories into the ghost stories. So I'm going to move the kind of the wartime memories. Okay, that's 10 minus 3, that's 7. That'll put us at 58. Society has changed. How has travel become easier for you? Recover any stationary resources for which you still have a memory. They are re-added to your resource list. Well, the only thing, it's not quite a stationary resource, but the only memory that we have is of this army of rats. So it might be fun to bring those back. We always have the option to just forget a memory that we don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and forget this memory of the fishy-eyed child. So what we're gonna say is, Bruish, the planet, society has changed. They're getting more contact with the outside world, maybe creatures from other worlds, and so the fact that there are like strange creatures on this planet is less threatening to the natives. So it says, the descendants of my rat horde return to me. As Bruish opens up to outsiders, my strangeness is less foreign. My horde accepted. All right, what happens next? Things just keep getting weird. 7 minus 3 is 4. That'll put us at 62. And I think at this point, we can fairly well assume that all of the wartime people are long gone, except for maybe George Perkins, who was a child. You realize that some ancient taboo or limitation you long believed in no longer applies. What circumstances prompted this discovery? How does this make your existence more satisfying? Change one checked or unchecked skill in a way that's relevant. So I'm going to change bloodthirsty to hemivore. As Bruish comes in contact with all sorts of strange creatures, the idea that there are some people who might feast on blood becomes a little bit more accepted. So putting this into the becoming less strange memory, I am diagnosed as a hemivore and able to feed more freely on the local beach animals. Right, because they still live on this island, and he's got this mechanical friend, and that's where we're at. 62. See, 1 minus 4 is negative 3, and that'll put us at 59, but the blue, so that'll actually put us at 120. Someone has taken out advertisements that they want to live forever. Due to boredom, pity, or cruelty, you seek them out. Who do they tell you they are? Why do they wish to live forever? Create a mortal character. Explain to them what your constant proximity to death feels like. Kill a mortal character. It doesn't have to be them. Well, let's draw an oracle card. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So there's an organ. So maybe there's some sort of musician who wants to be able to create music forever. All right. Well, let's get a name for this musician. Let's see. 78, male. Reuben. 17, Crawford. Unfortunately, it sort of has to be him because we don't have any other living mortal characters. Reuben wants to live forever to create more organ music. I get hungry, and my hemivore nature takes too much of his blood. As much as we try to forget, some things don't change. All right, that was 59. 5 minus 5. So 59, but the regular prompt this time. A mortal discovers the journals of a long-dead character or your own lost diary and approaches you. What do they seek? Gain a skill or a resource. Create a mortal character. Who is this new mortal character? 52, female. Hortense. 74, Porter. Hortense Porter has found my old diary that has the information about the Siren Song, Savannah, Samantha Douglas, my original name, which I've forgotten, and the Garrett Ghoul. Tell me a little bit more about Hortense Porter. There's a rat, sort of like a merchant. So I think Hortense Porter wants to like take my book and sell it in the marketplace, or he wants to publish it. Hortense Porter publishes my war-torn journal, bringing me fame and notoriety. So I've given myself the skill famous. Right, as attitudes have changed, right? Sort of the public is sort of seeing him in a different way, or sort of reshaping history a little bit. I'll put the Theo memory into the ghost stories. Right, 4 minus 3 is 1. That'll put us at 60. Oh, check a skill to avoid arrest as a criminal. What happened? Who was arrested in your place? Create a mortal character if necessary. So we're going to check famous. When they try to charge me for crimes, my fame protects me. George Perkins takes the fall instead. So we'll say that, yeah, it's just now at a point where he's quite old, the child who was born during war times, and then because of the similar characteristics, takes the fall for the crimes instead. Got away with it. All right, 7 minus 1 is 6, which puts us at 66. Your knowledge is outmoded. Lose an unchecked skill, which is now useless. We'll lose sailing. We'll put that in the hazy memory. Useless knot tying, meaningless sailing. One more. 3 minus 1 is 2, puts us at 68. An antiquity has surfaced which is directly tied to your mortal life. Check a skill or lose a resource and gain the antiquity as a resource, then regain one of your earliest memories. Record an experience about acquiring the antique. All right, we'll call it this. My old rat-catching equipment returns to me, and I publish a book of poems about it. And so we'll check poetic disposition. So I think we will stop there. We are, on this island with this mechanical man, Abernathy, and publishing books and eating organists, and yeah, who knows where we will take this next. Please like, subscribe, and share. It helps boost the channel. This is Science Fantasy Awesome, and you are awesome.